I was completely unprepared for how the opening case on the Red Flag Act in the United Kingdom, written by my co-author Mark Peter, would change my thinking about the adoption of artificial intelligence in my work and more broadly by business and society. The Red Flag Act sought to regulate the use of so-called land locomotives under which automobiles fell in the 19th century in the United Kingdom as these became available. In much the same way as we see regulation today making the adoption of driverless vehicles more expensive, the Red Flag Act prescribed safety measures such as a person walking 55 meters ahead of one of these new mechanical vehicles, as well as other safety features and operating requirements such as how many people needed to operate the vehicle. These, of course, made the use of these vehicles more expensive and also restricted the attractiveness of using them. 30 years later, these restrictions were removed or reduced, and the use cases for this new technology significantly expanded and their viability improved. Coming back to artificial intelligence, why did this change my mind? Well, it reminded me that we've been dealing with new technologies as societies and as individuals for a very long time. Most of us by now accept that we've been doing this since the beginning of time, probably, as human beings. But with artificial intelligence, where I was initially very skeptical, it reminded me of the fact that in a not too distant future, artificial intelligence will be taken for granted as something of our everyday lives. And this case reminded me of that because when I read it the first time and I thought about how people responded to these new types of vehicles, it made me smile, almost laugh, at how ridiculous it would be to try and regulate this new technology so strictly when it was so obvious that there were so many advantages to adopting this new form of transportation. Having read the case, I today have a far more positive attitude to emerging artificial intelligence technologies and their potential, while maintaining a critical perspective on them and understanding that we would probably benefit in much the same way back in the 19th century from an initial regulatory environment that sought to recognize risks and unforeseen consequences of artificial intelligence adoption, while also seeking to explore the potential and possibilities of this technology in the interim till we better understood the full consequences of the adoption.